finalmente. Well, I showed to you in the back of me images. It's some of my work. I working, I tell you, in 360 degrees: design, architecture, art direction, graphic. This one, it was a famous switch on, switch off. Because I like the idea to show to you our experience. My experience is our humanity, our technology, our knowledge, our quality. It's a complete work. It's a culture. Nothing. It's only for doing the best in one way. We have to do the best in all of them. I like the complexity. I don't like the simplicity. But the complexity, it's a way of life. After that, if you like, we discuss around of that. But believe, without this complexity in mind and without this simplicity in the end of the product, nothing is possible for me. This one, it's only some example. I do a lot of different thinking, and if you like, we discuss about of that. Sometimes honest, I'm totally honest. One designer is nothing, or one architect is nothing without a fantastic client. And we are very lucky for that, because I have only fantastic client. The collaboration is so strong with us and the client. Without the client, nothing is possible. I tell you, we are a tool, a little bit with the culture, a little bit with the technology, a little bit with the knowledge, but without a client, without these crazy people, nothing is possible. It's like we have an incredible collection of victims. You know, I know very well my history. I am always late. I never respect one appointment. If they ask me to arrive with something finished yet, I'm arrived, you know, with my hands, sometimes without money in the pocket. I forgot everything, and or they love you or they kill you. Can you imagine with the German factories or with the American? You have to work in Italy for that. And for that I'm totally Italian. But now in a serious way, we do it that one because it's inside in our culture. My university, it was a bad university. I walking through this incredible university, and I was shocked for that. You know, the beautiful surrounding, the students, they working in like in a paradise. My Polytechnic in Milan, it was like a hell with the devils, but a lot of devils. It was a confusion. It was noisy, but they teach us around one simple idea: curiosity. To be curious. My professor, it was, for example, Marco Zanuso or Achille Castiglioni, and we was without tools, but we use a lot of creativity around of the curiosity. For that reason, I hope, I don't know, I think. Alberto, it's a gentleman. It's a fantastic gentleman, and we start to work together because, for first, I tell you, I am a little bit viziato. Come si dice? Spoiled. If I don't like the people, I don't do nothing. And Alberto, it's a fantastic gentleman. It's a fantastic creative mind, but in the same time, you know, it's full of strange and particular idea. The first time we start to design together this watch, And it was the first project for them. And when I'm working with Alberto, we are talking before for many, many, many times in front of some beautiful and incredible red wines, because Alberto is fantastic in that. For food, Alberto is a great master. And we are never talking about of projects, we are talking about of wine. Can you imagine? The brief, it was wine. He likes some wine, I like some other. And we are talking about of that, we are tasting for one day, and it was a disaster, that one, because in the end of the day I was a little bit out of order. And in the end of this long, long discussion, he asked me, what do you think? It's time to design one watch. And I was a little bit out of order, and I said to him, okay, don't worry, I design. And this is the project. The second one, it was this coffee machine, Pina. And he asked me, you like to play a round of one coffee machine, because the master of the coffee machine is the Bialetti coffee machine. The Bialetti coffee machine is the coffee machine. And he asked me, you like to play around of that? Why not? It's like you are a young soccer player and you play against Pelé. Why not? It was a good game. And I tried. And of course I took a lot of mistakes, but this is another story. The industrial mind, like Alberto Alessi, it's a real creative and industrial mind. You discuss a round of one piece like that, but in the same time you are to discuss with the technology, you are to discuss with the cost, you are to discuss with the sustainability, you are to discuss with the movement, you are to discuss with the production. This is the real industrial way. Our link, I tell you before, without a good industrial man and mind, or women, mind again, it's impossible to do nothing. Impossible. Anyway, the relation is very good. He likes some red wine, I'm saying completely wrong, but it's another story. I don't like the wine treated with a barrique, because it's I don't know, it's sweeties and something quite French. I'm Italian and I'm a little bit chauvinistic for that. Every project is completely connected with the material. It's impossible to disconnect. If I design one sofa, the sofa is completely connected with the material. If I design a chair, it's completely connected. It's impossible to postpone or to translate one plastic chair in a wooden chair and vice versa. Or it's impossible to design one glass table in glass and you transform one glass table in a metal table. It's impossible. Or in a wooden table. The material is the cifra, the material is the language of the project. It's totally impossible to disconnect. I never design something for me, and after that I transform in plastic or in wood or in glass or in metal. One project, yes, it's a language. Every project is with their own language. When I work around of design, the design is it's industrial production. Industrial production means I have to produce one piece like that one time, and after 100,000 pieces, the same piece, it's again in the same quality of the production. But the architecture, it's like a one-man show. I have to do something completely connected with the building. It's completely connected with my idea of the building, and is completely connected with the sustainability of the building. It's two different sides. It's inside in the same complex volume, but in the same time it's completely different. When I design a building, the dimension, the space, the perspective is completely different. And the measure is completely different. It's different. One table is different to one chair, and one building is completely different to a room. Anyway, I try to do in the building too the maximum level of simplicity. I don't like to build something so complicated, because it's, for me, quite unhuman. But this one is my point of view. I think everything is possible. You know, it's in a professional way, everything is possible. Of course, I like to design electronics, or I like to design, I don't know, a bicycle. I like to design sometimes a dress, or I like to design something totally out of my world. But you know, I think everything is inside in our possibility. Design a life, or design a family, or design a daughter. This one, it's a real project. When I saw for my first time my son Francesco, after I don't know, he's born 1:30 in the night, and 1:35 this strange chicken, it was out, you know, with the strange legs and this horrible feet, like a, yes, it was like a horrible chicken. I'm looking at him and I think, oh my God, who designed this disgusting animal? This is a project. Now he's a nice guy, but before, believe it was. Ugh. Well, this is a project, a daughter, honestly. For the rest, you know, it's possible to do a tower, a tall tower, another tower more bigger, a bridge or something like that. It's possible, but it's possible to design one simple thing like this one. It's inside in our profession. Everything, more or less, is possible. I try to design a wine because, for example, Mr. Alberto Alessi, he bought 7 years ago, 8 years ago, one land in nearby Omegna, and he start to grow like a vineyard. And I think, okay, I do the same. But Alberto, it was very sportive, and it was a very gentleman. He do really the vineyard. I bought some bottles, and I took away the label, and I give to him one Montrachet Romane Conti, and I said to him, okay, try that one, is my wine. He tried and said, my God, what is that? It's fantastic. Of course, I bought in the shop. You know, it's my special vineyard system. I was not honest. You know, this one is another project. I like the human project. This one is a real project. Totally honest. Oh, the real project is to buy one Speedster, Le Mans Speedster 365 Porsche, monogrill, built it since 1961, gray. I design everything totally imperfect. The funny, no, listen, the funny is, when I design something, doesn't matter if it's a watch or a sofa or table or a building, I try to convince my poor victims, or the houses, for example, I try to convince them to survive inside in endless projects. You know, I modify one piece and again another detail and again another part and again and again. In the end, my poor victims, for example, before the Salone del Mobile in Milano, 2 days before, I try again to modify the pieces, and you know, my victims, they look at me and they said, "Please go away. Don't talk again. Don't look at me. Don't talk with me. This is the piece and no other chance." In architecture, it's quite complicated because you know it's not possible to remodeling every time the building, but now I try to do in this way too. No, nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect.
It's not perfect, but it's finished.
Somebody decides it's finished. For me, for me no. But somebody decides, okay, now it's finished. Okay, if you think, if you like, you do. But believe I'm never satisfied for that. Sometimes I'm coming out and I think, oh my God, I took a lot of mistakes. The project is completely wrong. I don't like. Please don't show them. I don't know. For example, I just finished one building in outside of Milano. It's the living headquarters, and every time I think when I'm there, the feeling it's quite good. I walking through the spaces and I'm looking around the people, the workers there. I feel it's not so bad. The atmosphere is good. I just finished another project in Jerusalem. I designed a hotel, and it was so funny because they invite me before the opening to be a real victim of the hotel, like a blind guest. They give to me one key, and I'm living inside in a hotel like a guest, and then think, not so bad. But believe the perfection is different. It's different. Anyway, I liked my job and I liked my work. Unfortunately, I'd like to be more precise and not perfect because the perfection is quite boring. I like to be a little bit only more precise. You know, Carlo Scarpa, it's a master. It's impossible to survive without. If you touch something designed by him, if you walk in through some architecture designed by him, if you touch some surfaces, material, some vases, it's inside in the blood, in our blood for sure, in my blood for sure. Unfortunately, Carlo Scarpa was unique. If you try to copy Carlo Scarpa, you are an ugly copier. You are to touch the surfaces of him. You are to try to go inside in a soul of him, but you have to stay absolutely far away of him, because in my mind, Carlo Scarpa is like a perfection. It's the touch of the perfection of him is fantastic. I saw some project designed by Carlo and the son, Tobia. He showed to us some incredible private projects, like chairs, like small table, like small objects, completely for one private collection. It was a family private collection. And for example, he designed one chair like the come si chiamano i shaker. You remember the shaker chair? Well, he modified one shaker chair and really designed one shaker chair, but it was elastic, it was full of movement. Took a rigidity, you are to sitting inside, otherwise the chair is completely disconnected. And when I saw one piece like that, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is a perfection. But you have to respect, otherwise you are ugly copier. And Carlos Carpa, it's like I don't know, like an angel. I'm not religious, angel in a good way. In the angel, for example, in a Hebrew religion, it's like a postman. He's coming with special messages. Well, Carlos Carpa is coming. He's doing a lot of special messages for us. The possibility the great possibility to touch the culture, and culture for me is the quality of life. The quality of life means the possibility to know, I don't know, Glenn Gould or to eat a fantastic burger. I'm quite vegetarian, but anyway, it's possible to walking through one small street in Paris, or to know a small Trieste cafe in San Francisco. This one it's my personal touch. Anyway, the life. If I use another point, the auto-referential point, normally we jump inside in these special mistakes. The auto-referential point is for me like a pornographic way of life. This one, it's one of our books I took away from our bibliothèque inside in studio. It's a specialized book about of design. Oh my God, it's like honestly, it looks like a little bit like a pornographic point. It's totally completely auto-referential. I prefer to spend my time with this. Probably I'm stupid, but sometimes I'm working in some university around the world, and in that one I'm a little bit a bastard. Is it possible to use this word? I don't touch the morality and the quality of my mother, but sometimes I feel I'm a little bit son of bitch. Because the first question of my student is, this one? It's Paul Éluard. It's a French poet, but Paul Éluard, this one, it's possible to ask somebody something like, I don't know, eats, or it's possible to ask something like Italo Calvino, or it's possible to ask something about of Fitzgerald, or it's possible some other, I don't know, Homero for some other question. This one, it's important. If we're starting again to talk about of Mies van der Rohe in a classical way, or Le Corbusier in a classical way, of course you are to know, but if you don't know the other part, what is that? It's the same discussion in my studio. In studio we are nearby 70 people, 68, 72, I don't know very well. Somebody arrived in the morning and they said to me, "Buongiorno," and I look in them, who is this? Well, it's funny because in my room, I'm working I have a beautiful, huge table, and my table it's nearby 2 meter for 2 meter, and it's full of books and confusion, flower, everything is there. And normally I'm working in a small space, big like this. And when the books comes inside in my private space, it's time for clean the table. More or less, I clean the table every 2 months, and the books become again and again and again. Sometimes the new people in studio, they sitting on my place, and I'm arriving in my room. I look in them and I think, this one is new. Anyway, 70 people. Our bibliothèques in studio I divide in three different bibliotheques. One, it's specialized, it's a graphic bibliothèque. Another one, it's a design and architectural bibliothèque. And the third one, it's only a bibliothèque with romans, historical books, paintings, poetry. And if my people, they don't spend time inside in the bibliothèque, the third one is not my people. It's not good for me. And the same is for my student, and the same is for my attitude. You have to do something different, otherwise we are like a machine, professional machine. Perfection is the Barcelona pavilion designed by Mies van der Rohe. It's a perfection. It's the Brunelleschi cupola in Florence. Is the special basilica designed by Palladio in Vicenza. It's I don't know, the Coliseum is perfection. The perfection is it's a fantastic Coquille Saint-Jacques cooked by Alain Ducasse. The perfection is Châteauneuf-du-Pape, 1954. This is the perfection. The other one, everything is possible. The perfection is, for me, this one. This is, in my mind, is perfect. You know, sometimes we are quite arrogant because we think we design something for the future. I think I design something for now. I don't know for the future. If something going through the time, why not? Probably it's a perfect project. But for the moment, I don't know. I don't know for the future. I never design something because I decide to invent something. We design something because we are completely connected inside in a project. And of course, we try to extremize some part of the project, but normally I never use one material for the material. Never. Sometimes we are invent something, we are put inside some creative modification in the material, but we have never used the material for the material. Again, this one is quite pornographic. 2 years ago, we are showing in Milano one chair designed by Cartel, and the chair, it's a simple chair, 4 legs, one back and one seat. One chair, quite stupid in the end. We are modify one traditional technology. We are use nylon. The material is nylon. Nylon function like a liquid water nearby 265 degrees. We have tried to put together 2 different technologies, the injection technology plus one totally new technology. In that way, we are combine injection technology plus the gas. The gas, it's a special mixture of oxygen and azoto. I don't know the name of that in English, but anyway, you have to believe in this strange gas. Because the point of the fusion of this gas, it's 5 degrees minus of the point of the fusion of the nylon. Well, when we start to work around of that, because it was interesting to to take away, inside, for example, in the legs, to take away the material in advance. And the combination of injection plus gas injection do it and function very well. Unfortunately, we are working for 2 years. The engineer from Bayern in Germany, can you imagine? The fantastic, perfect Deutsch engineer. For 2 years they are tell to us, you are totally, completely crazy. It's not possible. But after 2 years, we are modified the technology. And the technology modified the material. And now, for example, in one chair, we use nearby 1 kilo minus of material. This is the correct use of the material. Otherwise, you know, we're working with something completely abstract. We have designed one bridge now, and the bridge, it was impossible to be with the normal material because we are extremize the calculation in statics, and we are working with carbonium fiber, but only because we are extremize the calculation, and we are extremize the dimension, and we are extremize the performances, only for that. One normal aluminium, stainless steel, or some other material like that, it was not possible to use for this. Carbon fiber. And in the end, we don't spend a lot of money for this, more or less. Depends. If I like the client, I approach the project. If I don't like, I spend my time in Venice, I don't know, I take some martini cocktail in a Harris bar, or I going around with my girlfriend. But the approach, anyway, it's a scientific approach. When we start to design something, building, graphic, or object, before I start to design, a rituality. A rituality means, of course, everybody know the movement of one chair, and you have to use the chair like a chair, but the rituality is different. You have to think in another way. You have to think the chairs, it's a ritual with the body. You have to think the movement around of that. When I design, for example, I don't know, a kitchen, I don't think to design a kitchen around of one simple aesthetics idea, or more ideas, but again connected with aesthetics. Normally, I working around of the rituality of the food, or the rituality of the life around. Think about when you cook. Normally, you move in a vertical way the pieces. In a professional way, you move horizontal everything. The professional cookers, they move in this way. When you work with the computers on the table, if you are traditional and you follow completely the tradition, well, you use the keyboard in this way, but it's possible to work in this way, or it's possible to work in another solution. Well, I like to follow before the rituality. I like to think in my mind the rituality, and after that I start to design something. And it's like to fix some point of the romance. That's it. I designed the rituality for this. Unfortunately, it was unfunctional, but this one is a detail. Okay, this one, forget it. Rituality. I prefer to follow before the rituality. And after that, we start with the research, imagery research, and after that, the imagery research is like an alphabet for us. Because if I have to design something with my assistant, we have to combine together one alphabet together. It's like Yes, it's like a language. And after that, I start to design. But normally I fix on the paper some primary idea and we develop together. If I design one piece, the industrial design, it's, in my mind, it's a bit more pure because you design something, somebody built in an industrial way, and somebody buy. If you don't like one chair, coffee machine, bowl, bed, kitchen, I never understood why you use chicken in kitchen. Why you don't use kitchen and pollo? No, it's more easy. Well, anyway, the design is more honest for me. It's more interesting for some other reasons because you design something for one ideal client. I don't know the client. I don't know if they like my pieces. I don't know if they like the quality. I don't know if they like the price. But anyway, if I design something, it's more free because somebody buy if they like. When I design architecture, I design architecture for one client. If I design something like that, it's public spaces, I design for a short number of users. Unfortunately, the rest of the people pay for that. In a visual way, in an aggressive part of, I don't know, one building in the middle of the town, it's aggressive product. This is the big difference. Another one is more free, the other one somebody pay.